How do I sign into chat here? Oh, you just closed dock window. Yeah, this is a rather unexpected live. I thought I would go online right now and so that we could all wish Yu Menglong a Happy New Year. I know that it's custom because one of my followers mentioned that it is custom to stay up as late as they possibly can on New Year's Eve to wish their parents longevity. So I was hoping that maybe people would jump on and we could do a live EVP session and see if you respond. He did say yes to the session. I already asked him already, and I will record all of his responses and then maybe put a secondary video up just with the responses that he gives us right now. So I'm just wondering if I am indeed live because I do see the mic Oxy is responding to my voice. It's just maybe nobody's online right now because it's the holiday. Yeah. So, in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about some of the ideas I had for really making sure that we boycott the industry in every way possible so that we can make sure that we divest them of the profits they get from us, which, you know, they embezzle anyway and don't allow Happy New Year. They don't normally allow the artists to, take part in any way. So some of the ways I thought we could help the artists is, of course, to sign the petition. And hi, Budgems. I'm on live today just to do a live EVP session with Yu Menglong and wish him a happy Lunar New Year. And then maybe if people jump on board and they want to say something specifically to him, I can pass it on and they can see if they can hear the responses themselves. So, as I was saying, though, I'm going to start the session by talking about how we can help the artists that are left behind in Australia right now. People like, Hugo, and some other artists we're talking about look very stressed, are losing weight, are showing signs of abuse. Happy New Year. So, right now I'm in Canada and it's 1:20 p.m. and I believe in Beijing right now I think it's 2:20 and around that area. So if you guys want to leave a message for Yu Menglong, we're going to do a live EBP session so that you could possibly hear the response yourself on the live stream. And so what I'm going to ask people to do is just maybe, some people may feel very private, but no, just to maybe put their first name up and where they're from, like let's say Vietnam or Thailand or Philippines or something like that. And then, I can say, Susan wants to say to you how much she loved this movie and she wants to wish you a happy Lunar New Year. And so we can turn on the spirit box and see what he has to say about that. I'm sure that would lift his spirits too, because he knows that so many people still care about him, you know? And so you're the fire horse. And I think that's so exciting. You want to know why? Because the fire horse just comes in and just, it can be very destructive, but in a good way. Because when we burn down a forest, it leaves the forest a chance to regrow, right? So we can actually make great changes in the year of the fire horse, because it gets rid of old systems that are not benefiting us. And we can build new on that, something that is more beneficial to us as human beings. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of issues in all kinds of areas of politics around the world, because we're saying, oh, it's the year of the fire horse. It's time for us to disrupt, shake it up, get these corrupt officials out of government, and um, put them in their place. Their career sort of lifelong politicians, but almost criminals. And they've made enough money off of us. So it's time for us to put our foot down and say no more. So the best year to do that is the year of the fire horse, because that's the energy that comes in this year. An energy of destruction, but also an energy of rebirth, right? So as I was saying to start this off before, so everybody comes in, and I want to just say Happy New Year to everybody. I'm very excited about this year, and I think it's going to be our best year yet, because it's going to be a year that the 1% grows. So I was saying earlier, how can we help the artists that are in China right now? And of course, the first thing is to sign the petition, but I've heard that many people are doing it more than once. And really, it's not like a voting system. You're only supposed to sign once. And this is why I think we keep getting our numbers bumped down, because every once in a while, they'll do a recount. And if there's duplicates, it gets removed. So just vote once. If you voted, I have, of course. And what you can do then is just encourage others that you know that may not have voted to sign. Or to, if you have an event that you're going to where you're going to be selling brownies or whatever, put a little petition sign up there saying, this artist, a brief overhaul of what happened to him on a piece of paper, standing up. And just say, hey, if you go online right now, free cupcake for you, or something like that. Like, just let's start thinking outside the box so we can get people to sign. It's not to say that they won't care about it once they find out about it. It's just to get them aware of what happened to Yu Menglong and what's happening to others in China and other artists. Another thing that I was thinking about with our boycott, it's great that we're not, we're they're feeling it. They're really feeling it. We've had artists coming out and they're saying, I've had to get work elsewhere because I'm just haven't got very much work in 2025, and it's even getting worse. And then poor Hugh, he did have a movie that came out recently, the environmental one, and it tanked in the offices, the theater as well, in the cinema, because we're boycotting it. Not because we don't love Hugh, but because we don't like the industry and what it's doing to people. So we've got to keep doing that. But I wanted to break down completely how we boycott the industry to make it really work in every aspect. And I know it seems like we may be hurting the artists that we love, but it's not that. It's if we can diminish their light, these evil beings, these evil doers will not see them. They're never going to sacrifice an extra, are they? No. They want to sacrifice the brightest stars. So, and literally the brightest stars. So, if we can diminish that light for them, we can make sure that they don't suffer. So, here's the boycott I see. We boycott films, TV, concerts, fan meets and greets, products or endorsements advertised by celebrities. Maybe contact brands and let them know you won't be purchasing their products anymore and why. Unfollow artists on social media. Don't click on trailers or shorts on YouTube and other social media, as that leads to ad revenue that goes directly to the agencies that are abusing them. Um, don't buy memorabilia or merch of artists, because again, that goes directly to the agencies. Cancel all subscriptions to Chinese streaming sites and platforms that play their films, because you're paying, again, the agencies that are abusing them. Disband or leave fan groups. Um, and also don't watch lives. Don't watch their lives on these social medias, because that brings revenue to the agencies as well. Like you said, when he talked about how can the game stop, he said, don't watch, turn away, don't give it the value they're getting from it. And it's the same thing can be said for watching the films. And I can understand if you just can't give up your favorite artists, then if you have to watch a film of theirs because you're down and you really want to pick me up, do so on one of the free sites online. Like there's some like Kiss Asian and My Asian TV and other things where you can still watch for free, and that revenue is not going to the agencies. So we can really chokehold those agencies. And of course, we continue to 100% boycott the evildoers, the perpetrators that did this to Yu Menglong. And we don't give them any of our time or energy at all. Um, okay, so the next thing I thought to do is, if you can't completely turn away again, from your favorite artists, you can be our watchdogs. You could be the person that goes to their fan group meet and greets and just keeps an eye on these people and makes sure they're sound as a pound. You know what I mean? They're not getting thinner. They're not looking harried and scared like someone's chasing them. They don't have other signs of abuse, and so you can be our person that keeps an eye on them, just going to these meet and greets events and just see them in person to judge if they look safe in person. And then you can pass that on to the others that have boycotted them. My idea was we should start a Facebook group or another group, maybe on Discord or other things, where we can meet and discuss maybe who's in danger and who we think are in danger. And we can put posts up and, show them in a live where something suspicious looks suspicious and have other people judge whether that looks suspicious to them as well. And maybe we can discuss ways of helping them, because I can't think of all the ideas. Maybe others will come up with ideas that are closer to the mainland, that know what's going on there. So that's what I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking, I talked to Chat GPT, and I asked about helping Hugh, and it was not very helpful. It just kept going, are you sure you're okay? And maybe you need to get help because you think this person's in danger, when there isn't evidence of this person in danger. And then I said to ChatGPT, well, there have been patterns like this before, and these people have disappeared or, accidentally fallen off a building, or, and it just doesn't get the nuance, and so it makes me wonder if ChatGPT or AI is really going to be a problem, because I did see a video, and the guy asked ChatGPT, said, I gotta go wash my car. Should I walk to the car wash, or should I take my car? And ChatGPT went into a huge debate of whether walking or driving would be better. Instead of saying, well, how could you possibly walk and still wash your car when you get there? So it didn't catch on to that nuance. So I don't know if we're really, and that's actually a good news too, though, because I know I'm running over, or it seems like I'm not getting to the point. But the point is, if AI does take over, because recently there was Chinese film that came out, like a short video that showed Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fighting, and it was entirely made up of AI and looked so realistic that Hollywood is in panic. Hollywood's like, if AI can build this in minutes with zero budget, how, we're in trouble here. But you know what? That may be what frees these artists from the control. Because if you can make an artist out of AI, you don't have a physical being to abuse. Do you guys agree? I think I might root for AI for that reason. Maybe not all the others, but for that one. So I went to ChatGPT and it was totally unhelpful. But it did mention that, should probably reach out to human rights groups that might be there. But then I also had someone say, even if you go to the Red Cross, it's infiltrated with the CCP. So you wouldn't be able to get anywhere with that. But ChatGPT said as well that you should not tamper with location devices. So even if you could hit it with an electromagnetic device that shorts it out and doesn't hurt the individual, um, it alarms. So ChatGPT said, you can't have this type of thing without an infrastructure behind it. So it will automatically get alarmed in that infrastructure. So we wouldn't be able to throw them in the back of a van, unfortunately, which is sad. But so if you makes it past tonight, which I hope he does, because he could be actually competing at this very second, which makes me extremely upset. We get a hold of his schedule, okay? And that's another thing too. If we have some people paying attention to the artists and the others turning their back on them to try to save them, they should be aware of their schedules as well, so they can post them maybe on the group that we build to keep an eye on the artists that may be in danger and find the ones that are going to go and be included in the games. But this the individual would go to the live event, and maybe they could hold up a sign that actually spells out, are you in trouble? Pull your ear 3 times, and then get rid of the sign right away before anyone else can notice. And then after that, we can ask on another sign elsewhere in the crowd, are you being monitored? Do you have an ankle bracelet on or something? Electronic monitoring. If they say no, we have a chance of getting them out of there. But if they say yes, there isn't a chance. Or there's this new trend right now. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's on TikTok, I think. Anyway, so they post up a whole bunch of emojis, and you're supposed to, from the emojis, guess the country. So let's say it's Australia. You would see a koala and a surfboard, and you would go Australia, right? Let's say you see a castle and a beer stein. That would be Germany. I'm just wondering if you could put like "I love you" Hugh on a sign and put a bunch of emojis on the bottom of it. And now a person who's panicked may not notice this, but they may, if we make it clever enough, notice that the emojis are saying, "Are you in trouble? Are you in danger?" And give them some instruction. Say, rub your knee 3 times or something that doesn't look odd. You know what I mean? And that'll be the signal to us too, that we're not losing our minds, that we're not seeing things. This person is confirming it, you know? Yeah. So we just all have to, we can try, I don't know, could we try to get in touch with like any human rights groups and organizations that might be in China? I guess we could, but we'd be risking being exposed. But to do nothing is just, it's driving me a bit crazy. I know that I'm not willing to give up on anyone in China. I know that there are a lot of us around the world right now that hate what happened to you. And if I said so in one of my lives, what I want to have is a superpower. I want to have teleportation. But now I know I that I usually say what would be your number one superpower. But I'd actually want um to go back in time. So what I would do with these two powers is I would go back in time and teleport Yu Menglong, you know, to a safe location outside of the country and keep him hidden until Xi Jinping dies or is overthrown, which I hope happens very soon. I have a feeling, and now again, I'm not psychic, but I do have a feeling all this stress that he is involved in right now is going to be really difficult on his cardiovascular system. And it's actually part of the red horse year. It can um, make people's heart race a little more, make them have cardio issues. So that might be a catalyst to him, I think, maybe, having some sort of heart event later on in the year, maybe August or September or something. But I do also see that the spirits are telling me that, you know, they're giving me signs. Like the signal with the sonar keeps coming through these sessions, and it's a sonar sound. And it just sounds exactly what you would have on a submarine. And I'm just seeing lots of reports of Chinese vessels doing strange things in the waters of the South China Sea, near the Taiwan Strait, over by Thailand, over. So what they're doing is they're going where they're not allowed to go. They're having to be chased off, or actually um, aborted, and in I think in Thailand, they actually had to board the boat and arrest 11 of the crewmen. I know in the South China Sea by the Taiwan Strait, they had 2,000 boats line up. Um, and that these are all exercises. So I believe that she is going to have this be a water attack, because I had in one of my sessions them talking about firing a gun and talking about a ship. So it could be a submarine or it could be sonar on a ship. And, I can see that he would take a swipe, even if he knows he can't win the war. Because if he takes a swipe and he starts a war, that's going to cause turmoil and it's going to allow him to stay in office past the 21st Congress session. Oh, another thing that I realized as well is that I don't. It's Happy New Year, but I don't want to put too much negativity out there. But I did realize that Hugo's birthday is on September 20th, 1982. In 1954, on September 20th, there. Just one second. I'm going to pull up the article. Okay. Okay. I was pulling it up on my phone as being slow. Um, so in 1954, Constitution. Oh, okay, hold on. So in 1954, Constitution was critically important as China's first socialist constitution cemented the Chinese Communist Party leadership and established the National People's Congress, the NPC system. It provides a foundational legal framework for state transition and citizens' rights, though it had little immediate impact on daily life for the average citizen. But it was pinnacle to the creation of the CCP. So, Chinese New Year, right? This is where luck really comes into play. And you know who? Voldemort, Xi Jinping. I'm just going to say it. He is very superstitious. He's very paranoid. So, when would he want to turn his luck around? Before the new year, right? he'd want to go into the year of the fire horse, which he's extremely afraid of. And part of the reason they think he got rid of Janusha was because he has a bow, and there's this ancient prophecy about a bow taking down uh, um, the emperor at the um, Forbidden City gates or something like that. So he took down both the people that had a bow mentioned in their Chinese name, how it's written. So he's very superstitious. So if just like Gu Jun Chen was sacrificed because his birthday was October 1st, I think Huguz may be sacrificed because his birthday's on September 20th. What do you guys think? Do you think that could be a possibility? Oh, I'm sitting right on top of it. Does it sound a little quiet? That's weird. Maybe I've muffled it somehow. Hmm. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I think maybe we could just call him Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, because everybody knows who Winnie the Pooh is. Uh, okay, let me see. Oh, okay. I don't have a headset like professional vloggers do, videographers and so on, because I'm a layman, just being a lame woman. No. Oh, that's terrible. That was really bad. So I don't really have that kind of um, quality that you're going to get through in the session. But if you guys can still hear me, I'll just speak louder and get a little closer to the mic, I guess. I really do believe that value struck on what I was thinking. Hugo is maybe the eighth, and maybe it had to happen before the start of 2026 to bring that whole 10 year and another 10 years after that to fruition. And I don't know why the spirits didn't alarm me to this before. I think they thought he was safe, but I don't know if something happened on behind the scenes that we're totally not aware of for Xi Jinping to make him completely realize he's, like they say, riding the tiger and there's no way he can get off. Then basically, it's going to be, and another thing too that I can't understand is the spirits tell me what they tell me, and I just report it to you guys. I try to sometimes interpret, like for example, when it said Donald and the phone rang, that was my interpretation of Donald Trump, the phone in the Oval Office, and what came after kind of indicated to me like people crying out for help. So, and when it said go to his home, I interpreted it to mean that um, people in China want the same thing to happen there as Venezuela. And that makes sense, right? And that's my intuition calling. It's saying, you know, I can trust my instincts when it says something doesn't seem right here. Anyway, so it's my interpretation that um, Xi Jinping uh, realized that the only way for him to get out of the trouble that he's in right now, because he's not going to be able to legalize his actions against Zhang Yusha, is to present him. And because of what he did, he can't present him. And so this is why we're in the mess that we're in. This is what's escalated this situation. He thought, was it February 4th, that they were going to meet and they're going to just capitulate to him and say, okay, that's fine. We'll let this slide. You didn't do it legally, but, we'll just oust these two from the NPC, and then well, they don't have any rights anymore. So whatever you've done is okay. So, um, anyway, so, and I also don't understand as well why the spirits say that Chanduling has been thrown in a moat, unless it's because there's so much heat on these people. If she's plastinated, you know what I mean? There's no way people wouldn't know exactly what happened to her. And now she's got like this body double running around, and then you see a plastinated version of her. I think it's one thing to plastinate individuals that everybody knows to have passed. I don't know. I can't explain the inner workings of these people's minds because I don't think there's an inner workings of their mind. I think it's kind of demented, the things they do. But I thought it was hilarious that ChatGPT, when I was asking how to help Hugh, I'll just call him Hugh because I'm terrible with names. It just kept saying, "Are you all right? Are you getting enough sleep? Do you need to talk to somebody?" Oh my gosh, ChatGPT thinks I'm totally nuts and paranoid. Um, yeah, I think it's more than that. I think, um, sorry, Susie Warner. I think it's more than she's saying. I think Chanduling, Diluraba, uh, Gu Junchan, and now Hugo sacrificed because they defended Yu Menglong. And I think it's got to be more than that because I think there's ritual involved in this. I think it's got to have some sort of connection to the people they're being sacrificed for to switch that sort of karma over to them and luck over to the other person. So maybe birth dates that match, maybe Chen Duling's birth date matched with that daughter they were talking about, and she has the feminine energy, and they were talking about a third daughter that had to take um, was in inheriting something, but they had to have legitimacy with the inheritance. And because there's only one legitimate daughter, I don't know. So, yeah, I think there's a whole network, underground network of cultists, elite cultists out there that are practicing these rituals. Um, Obviously, with Jeffrey Epstein, which the spirits have told me he is alive, whether he was in Israel or Texas. People have said they've seen him in Israel with a beard to kind of disguise him. And I'm saying, yeah, he could very well be in Israel and Texas. This guy could be moving around freely and amongst the millions and billions of us, and we wouldn't know it. Also, I do believe that I never asked the spirits about this, but I do believe that Ghislaine Maxwell is free as well. I think they have a double in there in jail of her. If you look at pictures of her, and the pictures of the woman that just made the statement to Congress that she would only talk um, if she was granted clemency from Donald Trump. And if you do a facial recognition, you will see nothing lines up with facial structure. And it's said that she had plastic surgery when she went missing from 2019 to 2020 when she was caught. But I'm telling you, if you have money, there's no way you're going to go to a plastic surgeon and say, make me uglier. No, you're going to say, make me look different, but I want to look beautiful. And the person in jail doesn't only look uglier because maybe there's a little bit of more weight on her face. The person looks uglier because it's a big nose, it's short nose, the eyes look closer together, the facial structure doesn't look symmetrical, things like that. And it's no plastic surgeon in their right minds either would make somebody uglier. That's my intuition speaking, right? So this is how these people, and this is, no one's getting arrested for these things, because even an FBI analyst who's um, goes on Diary CEO every once in a while. He's brilliant. He talks about psyops and other things. He has actually come forward and said, none of these people are arrested because they run the world, and it would literally fall apart. And there was someone else as well. He said back in 2005, when Epstein was arrested for his first offense of um, uh, as like sexually assaulting minors, like 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds and stuff like that, teenagers. Um, he said they had the housing crisis. Then in 2010, he was arrested again and accused of sexually assaulting teenagers or minors. And then they had the market crash. Then also in 2019 was when he was arrested again. What happened then? COVID. So something's going on. How can these all be connected? Is it just coincidence? I don't know. I don't know if I believe in coincidences anymore after all this. So, um, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So you have these terribly rich people, and he gave his money to his girlfriend, not Ghislaine, because um, the spirit said that he didn't want it to go to the courts, but also so that he could still have access to it. Because if it's given to his girlfriend, which I don't know why she's not arrested, um, because she supposedly was very much involved as well. She was a dentist that he put through school, and she ran a dental program inside the compounds that he had. He had doctors and dentists and uh, was it pediatricians and OBGYNs and stuff like that for the pregnancies and so on. Anyway, Happy New Year. Let's not talk about this anymore. Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, it's so disgusting. Oh, money is truly the root of all evil. It is, isn't it? It's just the root of all evil. I mean, all of this goes back to money. I mean, what is it? He who dies with the most toys win? Is that what we're all about now? I hope not, because like my mom said when she was a nurse, no one's ever gone to their deathbed saying, I wish I'd worked more. I wish I'd gotten that promotion, or that title. Or, they've all said, I wish I'd spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I went to Paris. I wish I, spent more time in nature. I wish I'd given more in my lifetime to others that needed it. And my goodness, I mean, we've got to stop this crazy merry-go-round, because I think whatever sort of I can't think that this is random. I can't think that this is random, and I think that this is deliberate. I think that there's some sort of organization or something out there that we don't know, some shadow being, whether you call it the devil or whether you call it the, uh, demiurge, or whether you call it Baal or Lucifer, whether they're satanic or reptilian. There's something out there, and it's organizing these people, and it's using gold, like the lure of money, to draw these souls in that have they're broken souls. They're lost lambs that, you know, I think they're cycling through of birth and rebirth and birth and rebirth. And every time they do, they muddy their souls a little more. And by the time they came to this timeline and this moment in time, they are so. If you looked at their aura, it'd probably be black. And I know by looking in their eyes, there's definitely not an ounce of humanity left in there. So something has brought them to this point, and I think they use them to try and bring us down, the light bringers, that we've just started coming in to try to raise the vibration of this planet to a planet that is a joy to live on, that's safe for young children with pure souls and babies. And I have no doubt we're going to do it. We're all going to do this together because we're awake. We have our eyes open and we can see them, and they're afraid. And that's what the Spirit said. That's what enraged she the most, that everybody knows exactly what he did around the globe, not just in China where he can keep it quiet. Everybody knows. I don't, Donald Trump's probably over in the Oval Office right now thinking, at some point thought, wow, how could that guy actually sacrifice someone and think that's going to improve his fate politically? Can you imagine if you're Xi Jinping and you've gotten away with this for so many years and now everybody's looking at you and know exactly what you've done? Like, look at this. Like, someone just announced the other day on a video, I did a deep dive into what they know their wealth is, not what may be hidden under the hidden, deeply buried. Xi Jinping's sister has 20 trillion yuan in assets. Okay? Xi Jinping has something like, well, I can't remember what it was in yuan, but I think it's something like 3 trillion US dollars in assets. Now, think about his brother, um, Yuan Jinping. He probably has even more than his brother because his brother has had to try to keep at least a clean look about him in office. Now, Yuan may even have more than the sister. If they arrested them and confiscated their wealth and brought it back to the country, at least the people of China would be able to feed themselves, keep a roof over their head, maybe put in some infrastructure so people aren't freezing through the winter because they're not allowed to burn coal. But they don't care. They just want to continue increasing their wealth. Well, I want to tell Xi Jinping something. You can't take it with you when you go. You can't. There's no way. You're going to get over there on the other side, and you're going to be this kind of homunculus of a soul, and you're going to be dealt with on the other side. Right? Anyway, so yeah. So I thought we would end this on an up note, and I asked Yu Menglong if we could please all wish him a happy new year. So what I'm going to ask people to do is, if you want to wish Yu Menglong a happy new year, please put your name and your country down and how you would like to say it. Like, for example, if you just want to say, my favorite movie of yours was such and such, and you've not been on my mind this whole time since you passed, and I just want to wish you and your mom a happy new year, something like that. Then I'll let him know, and I will play the spirit box. Maybe you'll be able to hear a response audibly, but I'm going to be recording it as I'm doing that, so that I'm going to upload the video from what I found of what he said in response, and then I'll put that up in the next day or so. So do you guys want to do that? Yes. Okay. So Kathy just said, not to mention their gold bars, talking about their wealth. By the way, I think a private group to save Hugo is a good idea. Thank you for all your hard work, Deb. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for still sticking with this. Like, that's what I think Xi Jinping thought. Oh, they're goldfish. They have a memory of a goldfish. In a week's time, they're going to move on. We're just going to suppress everything about Yu Menglong's name, even emojis of fish, and we're going to, and it'll be forgotten in a week. And here they are. Every movie that's coming out is tanking. And it's not because people don't have the money to spend on movies. Because guess what? When Avatar went over there and a superhero movie went over there, it blew up in the box office and they made millions. It's not that. And they went, oh, look what we've done. Look what we've done. Another thing too is I do believe I read that Mango Media or Tianyu Media has changed their name again. So I have to look and find out what the name is so that we can know that we're definitely boycotting them as well, because they keep changing it to all these shelf companies they used to have. So they think they can trick us. And you know what? I think that again, the more we talk about this with others, and I know I have family members when I get talking about this of like looking at me like, are you all right? You're getting a little obsessed. You know what I mean? And I think I've heard from some of you guys giving me comments that their family is saying the same thing to them. But don't give up. Keep talking about it, because knowledge is power. The more people we talk to about it, the more that person maybe signs a petition or tells somebody else who can make a difference, you know? And eventually we'll stumble on someone who can make this stop. If I can't do it, I know somebody else will. So I hope someone can translate some of what I'm saying. Just maybe Angel, are you translating some of the things that I'm saying into Chinese so that others can follow along? Like, I'm not saying everything because I'm talking pretty rapidly, and just the major points about the ideas of how we can help the artists that are left behind. And maybe Hugo as well if he makes it through tonight. Another thing about Chen Dueling is I don't want to believe she's dead either. I want to believe she's alive and well. And, I want to be proven wrong. I'm 110% want to be proven wrong about her. Um, and the thing is, you're going to see, especially during Chinese New Year's, maybe you're going to see an advertisement with her in there. Um, and these things are filmed like months in advance. So we can't say, oh, look, she has, indicators of being Chenduling, because that could have been filmed a month ago or 2 months ago. Um, when she shows up on shows, unless it's live, again, usually sometimes you film a month before the show airs. So you may still see remnants of her on the screen, unless she shows up in live. And here I think I know what's going on here. There may be, and here's what I think. They're going to put out two lookalikes of Chen Dueling. One that's going to look a lot like her, and one that looks ridiculously not like her. So what the human mind is going to do is going to latch on to the one that looks the most like her and say, yeah, that's her, that's her, that's her. You know what I mean? Without looking closer. And then they're going to switch them back back and forth to make us confused. And then eventually the secondary one that doesn't look as much like her is going to disappear. And everybody's going to say, whew, she's okay. When meanwhile, the one that look more like her is still an imposter. And they're diabolical. Diabolical. So I truly believe that's the tactic that they would use to trick the public into thinking she's still alive. Because if you're a moneymaker, they want to still make money on you if they can. But they want to get away with everything in the dark as well. So yeah, let's do a Happy New Year for Yu Menglong and his mother, and Chen Dueling if she is over on the other side. And I'll try to reach out to Gu Jun Chen as well. I think he's in a bit of a harsher, more predicament. Um, who else can I reach out to? Who else would you like to reach out to wish a happy new year to? Kathy, his mother is not on earth. Kathy. Who's Kathy? Is that Yu Menglong's mother? Is that her English name? Karen? Kathy, his mother is not on earth, says Karen. Um, all right. Okay, so Kathy Wong. By the way, Deborah, I hope you confirm if Hugh's mother and family is safe. It's been too silent. Now, I heard today Sean Varel did a video on his Yu Menglong's mother, and the rumor out there is that she's in a mental asylum. They've changed her shaved her head. She's sort of not left her bed in this insane asylum, and you don't have names in this insane asylum. You get a number, um, and they call her 615, ironically because that's his birthday. And that the person that went to this, that came out of the insane asylum, said when they showed him a picture, said that's the woman that she saw. However, here's my question um, about that. If he's done said so many details, but never the name of the insane asylum or the location of it. So I'm just wondering if it's just another psyop to throw everybody off and make them think that Yu Menglong's mother's still alive. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that the last time I spoke with Yu Menglong, the spirits came away with she's dead, deceased, they killed her, all in the same sort of string of sentences. Um, so there's no doubt on their mind. And you has said she's with him. So, and not only to me, but to Candace as well. So I really do believe that she has passed. And so Edison told me that they had heard from another psychic that the way that Du Chong had killed her was he smothered her with a pillow when she got to Yu Menglong's apartment to pack up his things. So I believe that would be something that he would use, right? So I believe that's something he would do as well. And I also heard, which I had no idea, and I don't know if you guys can confirm it or not, that Du Chang, Du Chang, sorry, um, might be Fang Li's son. Is that true? Does anybody know if that's true? Or is that just a rumor? Okay, so yeah, so that would explain why he's in like Flynn with all of them, and he seems to have no background whatsoever. And I really do think Fang Li because of the number of times the spirits have mentioned him in regards to the games and Yunnan. Um, I really do believe he is one of the head honchos with the games. Yes, I do believe that's true, Ty Angel. He is better off where he is now, and I will never forget him either. So, um, all right. So I'm going to start the EVP session, and if you guys, I don't know, how do you guys feel about this? Do you want to ask him some questions that might bring his mood down on Chinese Lunar New Year, or just because we need some clarification, or do you just want to wish him a happy New Year? Is the UAE figure that visited Yu's place after death Is that the Sultan mentioned in the Eastern Files? I thought he visited the did he visit his apartment, the basement apartment he was kept in with no windows? Or are you saying when he visited the 798 Art District in Chihao? Because I thought his car was parked outside that. I think they're all related. I think it's all related because when you look at Egyptian belief system, right, and the characters in the Egyptian pantheos, you see a very similar um, actions as you would with satanic worship and Baal, um, Luciferians and stuff like that, that they would sacrifice babies on New Year's Eve and other things. There was a transfer of luck ceremonies and practices. So I think there's a very big similarity between what's going on in present day and what has happened in the past in Egypt and so on. Okay, so we can ask about hookah right now, um, and we will see what's happening at this time frame for him, and hopefully the spirits will. Because Angel just said, Deborah, um, I'd like to know how hookah is doing currently. Okay, we can ask about it. Do you want to ask about it first, and then do our well wishes and our um, happy New Year to Yu Menglong and the ones that have passed? Is that what you'd like to do? Okay, thank you all. That place in mainland China is too dangerous. Once they have control, it's hard to escape. Yes. And I asked ChatGPT if there would be any way to disarm um, an ankle monitor. And there is, but it would alarm immediately. So it may put the person in more danger, more immediate danger. So we got to start thinking with our whole brains, everybody, because we got to try to get these people out of this situation without putting them in more danger. Okay, so let's ask about. I'm going to just, I hope you guys are okay with me just calling him Hugh, because I don't want to get mixed up with his name when I'm calling out. Um, and please know that I will hear some responses on this coming through in the foreground. Live, but how this normally works is I put a pair of headphones on. I've slowed down the speed because Spirit can talk very rapidly. I bring up the volume for the infrasound that's in between the brown, pink, and white static, so that I can hear what spirits may be saying in the background. Sometimes two spirits speak at once, so I have to decipher which one of them they're saying what. So I may not get all the responses instantaneously, but when I put up the results, you guys will be able to see what they've said. Okay, Angel, yesterday, Deborah, other netizens offered very good suggestions, but it's currently too dangerous to implement them there. Okay, what did they offer? Because at the beginning of this video, I offered some great suggestions as well as to how we can help the artists in the area. Angel, did you jump on pretty fairly soon? Were you able to hear those suggestions? All are threatened. Persecution, suppression, and even disappearances are ways of creating terror. Yeah, they're all threatened because, I mean, I saw the award ceremony, the Weibo Awards ceremony, Weibo, where the CEO was kicking Yang Ming's dress to stand beside her when they were offering for him to stand in the middle. And he just didn't care. He was going to stand there and he was just going to continue to kick her dress. And she was too terrified to even move one iota. You know what I mean? Like, she was probably thinking at that time, oh, dang, I'm screwed royally if I do anything, because it could be considered rude or could be considered he could lose face over this. So I've got to stand here and just do nothing. And that's what all the industry is doing right now. They're standing there and doing nothing because they're too afraid to move in one way or another. And who can blame them? Like, they've seen what happened to Yu Menglong. Maybe some of them firsthand saw what happened to Kimmy. And I believe that Hugh did see what happened to Kimmy firsthand. Um, I really do. And some of the people that saw what happened to Kimmy firsthand are a lot of them are on the list of the 16 because they couldn't live with what they saw, you know? And yes, he was very rude to her. And because they don't care. Just like Chin Chi, yeah, XINQI, Chin Chi. Um, his attitude, the spirit said, was as soon as they signed his contract, they were his property. He owned them, and he could do whatever he wanted with them. And that's exactly how they all feel. And it's not just in China. If you look back in the music industry of when, Michael Jackson and Prince were, just coming up through the ranks and stuff like that, Prince spoke out lots of times saying, you know, I want to produce my own stuff, I want to do this. And it's tantamount to a slave contract when you had a contract with something like Sony Entertainment because they owned you and they treated you like a commodity and a product. And that's what they're doing with these poor artists in China. And oh yeah, so from the party to withdraw from the party, yes. The only reason they allowed Yu Menglong to do it is because they understood his situation. He was already dead. He couldn't give his consent, and so it was the first time in history they actually withdrew someone from did the three withdrawals of someone who's already deceased. And it was because of the colossal number of people that actually contacted them to do so. So I'm glad that they did because I believe there's some sort of I talked about soul contracts before. So a soul contract is when you're on the other side, you make a soul contract for your what you're going to do here in this lifetime, and it's like a pact. It's like you're saying, I'm coming here and I'm going to make up for my previous life where I was a selfish individual. I only thought about myself. I was all about the money. I realize now that that was no way to live your life. It doesn't lead to happiness. So this life I'm going to be a philanthropist. I'm going to be someone who works with, NGOs and helps people in Africa and blah, blah, blah. So there's your soul contract. And you come over and you become allure. Oh, the money allure happens again. Maybe you're talented. Maybe you play an instrument and you become like an overnight sensation. And then your life just keeps falling apart, right? And every time you try to run towards success, there's another roadblock in your way, or you lose a loved one, or this, that, and the other thing. And it's your soul contract. It's the other side telling you you're not on your path. And I believe that. So everybody talks about these agencies, like this dark cabal, these shadow organizations having to kind of tell us what they're doing before they do it, like Squid Game, you know? And I believe that has to do with the contracts we make on the other side, because not only do you make soul contracts, but you contract with others to throw you back on your right path um, when you're off course. And I think those contracts, I think that's why you said don't sign any contracts, because when you agree to be part of the three things like I can't remember the names of them, Angel. I think they're like the Youth League, Young Pioneers, and, the CCP. You're making a contract with them. And if you break that contract, you break the contract you made with them on the other side to do whatever they wanted to. So it's there. Break all your, if you feel you're not living your best life and you want to just say enough, best way you can do is to sit down, meditate, think, I break every soul contract I made on the other side with other entities or other beings that are not in my best interest. Done. Because that contract, that soul contract was made in earnest on the other side, could be what's destroying you here, because that person you made a compact with could not be the same person as well. Now they're an evil entity and they want to still be involved in your life and cause you grief. So you break that contract with them, that pact you made with them, and they no longer can affect your life. Yeah. All right, let's start with Hugo and find out how he's doing, okay? And I'm going to record it, and then I think we'll take some time to put it up, maybe 24 hours, and I'll get it up so you guys can hear the responses. So I'm going to turn on the ghost box. The spirit box. It's very energetic today. As you can hear, there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys can hear it. What in the world? It's very loud. Okay. I'm shutting that off. Okay, so that is extremely loud. There must be a lot of interference with the Schumann waves right now. We've had a lot of major events on the sun, which has caused solar flares, and they're causing solar storms, which is causing the Schumann waves to be greatly increased, which is causing radio waves, which we're using right now, to be affected. So you're going to hear a lot of interference on this end. It's going to be a lot louder than it normally is. So there'll be a lot of more pink noise in there than white noise and stuff like that, and brown noise as well. Yeah. But what did you ask me? Oh, the big shoes. Yes, the big shoes. It's most likely. See, intuitively, I'm thinking, how are you hiding an ankle bracelet with bigger shoes? You could just put the ankle bracelet higher up on the leg, right? And then it won't be seen. So not exactly on the calf itself, but just between the calf and the ankle, you could affix the ankle bracelet, right? And put on a wider pant leg. And then have the person in regular size shoes. I wonder if the large shoes are a humiliation for the individual, because someone did tell me that are aware of the sacrificial practices, that humiliation is part of the breaking down of the spirit and the soul inside the body. To humiliate them, that would mean like making them kneel for long periods of time, or like they did with Yu Menglong and made him kneel in lives so that he could be humiliated while he was talking and not letting anybody know about that. Another thing too is, if they can affix an ankle bracelet to him, but they still have a lot of security around him, what's the best way to ensure that that person's suddenly not going to sprint and get away? Put them in shoes that are 4 times bigger than their foot. Because how are they going to suddenly sprint? right? Just big enough not to get out of them quickly, and definitely big enough for them not to be able to run away, you know? And so I don't know if it has anything to do with an ankle bracelet, a monitor on the ankle. I think it doesn't. I think it's humiliation and making sure they can't run away. Does that make any sense to you guys? You can't run away in big shoes. You can't. I don't think if any of us ever seen a clown run, right? I don't think it's possible. It's a terrible thing to laugh about, but oh my gosh. I mean, I can't get over these practices. I tell you, I'm so mad the other day when I listened to the session with um, Yu Menglong's mother and Chen Duling and Hege, and finding out from Spirit that Hege was now in the line of fire, that he wasn't just being suppressed. And I really do think that he was suppressed for something else, and they changed their mind. I really do think. Because they're desperate now. And what happens with a desperate animal when it's cornered? It attacks, and it attacks the first thing it sees. And it doesn't matter who it is or if it makes any sense. Yeah, there's a mega solar storm. I can hear it. Uh, Karuna said, yeah, there's a mega solar storm, and I can hear it in the radio. It's like high velocity sound coming through it. But we're gonna try it anyway because I want to find out what's happening with who. So that's what I was really pissed when I did the session, because I was so sick and tired of finding out more people were going to die, and I really do think that Hugo might be the eighth. I don't believe that Chen Duling was the eighth sacrifice. But let's find out, and hopefully something changed. And Winnie the Pooh, Xi Jinping. I'm just gonna say it. I got offered to be like a partner with YouTube, where they send you a notice saying you could be a partner for advertising. And I'm wondering if I should even bother responding to that, because I don't want to be censored. I don't want to um, have to change the language that I speak into essay and unalived and self deleted and all that. I think, like I said before, there's there's power in knowledge, and there's also power in our language that we use. So I know if I go and I sign up for this and they have to review my videos, they're probably not going to give me a partnership anyway, because I do call out Xi Jinping verbally. I do say it like it is. And I don't care any of the consequences, because they can't touch me. They're not even in my sphere or my dimension. Because I am in, here's what I think. I don't think this new earth that they're talking about in these higher dimensions are actually going to be aliens who land on the planet and pick us up and take us to a new earth. I think it's what we make here on earth. If we can vibrate on a positive note, our world will become the world we deserve to live in. And it'll become that because we create it. We are creators. We have the power of creation. Um, you create the world you live in even now. If you have a negative aspect of life and everything about your life you think is negative, well, it sure is. You get up in the morning and your car doesn't start until you try it 3 times. Your tire is wobbly. It's not going to get you to work very much longer. You need to get it looked at or something like that. You hit every red light on the way. And then just get more and more negative, and more negative things happen. And that's why sometimes we go through weeks at a time, and like several things seem to happen to us all at once. And it's because we're feeding that negativity into the world we live in, and it's responding in kind. Yeah. You said that they tried to do that to Candace Starr and she declined, which was the right decision. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Candace has any sort of partnership or anything with them at all. Um, I think the indicator if you have partnerships with them is if you turn on a video and it has um, It has advertising on it and stuff like that. So I know mine doesn't. So I am. I'm not. I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking I might not do it because I want to have the freedom to just put up whatever I want, and I don't want to play the elite's game of, oh, you can have this, that, or the other thing as long as you play along, right? That's what they're saying to the artists in China. You can have fame, fortune, and comfort as long as you play along, and that's just hurting others. Okay, Jennifer's asked, was she locked up in Shanghai after reports came out? Not sure if it's true. Who was locked up in Shanghai? And oh, Angel saying that. Angel, who was supposed to be locked up in Shanghai? So, Anam says, Deborah, I agree with you on the live that you did the other day. Ever since I'm invested in Yu Menglong's story and others, I have lost all interest in other hobbies. Yes, it's hard. It's hard to go back to being. How did we? A lot of times we don't even realize we're disassociating from reality when we follow the things we like. For example, you know, if you want to disconnect and want to say, stop the merry-go-round, I want to get off, and it's been a horrible day, maybe you grab a glass of wine and you binge watch your favorite series. Or maybe you go and you play music really loud and go around your house cleaning it up or something like that. It's a way for you to disconnect from reality, really. Um, Maybe you like to read. Maybe you just want to sit back and read an entire book in a night, that's like a dark romance or something. But then you go and something like this hits you and it deeply wounds your psyche. It does. It almost hits your soul. Your soul's crying out for the other soul that this happened to. And when you go to sit down to read, you can't even finish reading a page because you're like, the thought comes back to your mind about something reminds you and maybe what you read. You're reading a book and it suddenly mentions Paris, and then you think, oh, Yu Menglong wanted to go to Paris, and why wasn't he allowed to do the things that he wanted to do? And it's just hard to go back to being asleep, and that's part of it. Like these hobbies that you have just help you um, unwind, if that's the word you want to use, but it also allows you to escape reality of the moment. And I don't think we're allowing ourselves to escape anymore. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, so KGM and I guess we're supposed to be. She says, I guess we're supposed to be changed and spurred into action. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Now listen, um, like I said, Yu Long came here. He wasn't like a messiah or a prophet or Jesus, the second coming of Jesus. He was just a human being that came here, fulfilling a prophecy. I do believe he was fulfilling a prophecy, but he was also um, here to wake us up. He shone a light on what we weren't seeing. All these people, all these organizations were living in the dark, and these shadows were living in the dark. And when he shone his light on it, it came. We were able to become aware. Why do you think? And it's the universe making us aware of it, not just Yu Menglong. Because do you think it's just coincidence that the Epstein files are released just after Yu Menglong dies in this heinous way? And that Yu Menglong dies in the same way that Kimmy did. But Kimmy, we knew nothing about. We could only speculate. But there's so much proof of what happened to Yu Menglong. Oh, sure, Jiang Yuxia made it possible for the PLA to record a lot of this stuff. to release it to us, just enough so that he could have the leverage he needed with Xi Jinping. But who was the greater hand in play there that made Zhang Yuxia do this? And why is it all coming to light now? And why are these governments falling apart around the world? Why are people suddenly able to go en masse and demonstrate in the streets and it's working? It's because right now we are waking up, or we are increasing our vibration, and the 1% is realizing they're in trouble. Do you know that when the Epstein files were released, there were 5,000 politicians that left office? One, so they couldn't be persecuted for treason and other things for what they did, because they're in office, and why pursue someone who's not still in office? You know what I mean? They left office. They realized their time is up. Their time is up. And we're making them realize their time is up. So if I were talking to people of China, here's what I would tell them. This next year is going to be extremely hard. We can all see it coming. Mass layoffs. A lot of people dissatisfied with companies not even bothering to pay them when they promised to. Burning down these organizations in protest. So it's the year of the fire horse is going to look like the year of the fire horse in China. There's going to be lots of fires. Like the spirits told me, that virus that's going around is going to spread even further. And it's going to be quite prominent there. And I also want to say there's going to be revolt. You're going to start the fighting between the government and the army. And the army's actually put out an open letter. Come on, everybody. All citizens, let's go. Time to stand up. They put that out there. The army's saying, we're willing to stand with you if you guys are just willing to stand with us. And here's what I think you got to do. You don't have guns. You can't get guns. Make slingshots. Make bow and arrows. Go to the junkyard. Get fiberglass. Cut it into a shield. Get PVC pipe. It's very much like a baton, like the police have. Create batons of your own with PVC pipe. You know, the smaller versions, like the 1-inch PVC pipe. It's extremely versatile and strong. Very. That thing does not break if you hit it against stuff. And, you know, if I were you, I'd keep some of those fireworks that you're lighting off today and store them to use them as weapons later on. That's what I would do. And then they know that it's not going to be an easy fight for them if you go face to face with the 38 and the 82 and the police in Beijing. They're going to think twice if you're firing in their face, you know, a full-on firework. You know what I mean? Like they're doing in the UK. I'd do that. Because you know what? If things get really bad, you know, politically for Xi Jinping, and he's still in office, he's going to take the people and use them for as much money as he can get before he's stopped. Because that's all he cares about is accumulating wealth. And so the buses are going to come out. Mass organ harvesting will happen. And who's going to do anything about it? You know, there's a petition out there that should have been 5 million that's being suppressed. And, you know, we should have been able to go to Amnesty International with that, but they're not going to get involved. So it's time for the Chinese people to stand up themselves. You know? Anyway, so that's what I would do. Revolution! That's what I would do. Okay, so I'm going to try this again and see if I get a better result. Oh, you.
He had the last That's just order delicious. You could be.
Hey, I'm just running the spirit box at the moment. I'm going to ask about Hugo. Yeah, hi. Just let me get my voice recording up so that I can make sure I get... Okay. Hugh. I just heard Hugh.
Thank you. That's true.
So I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to leave it quiet for a minute to get the responses. Hugh. Yu Menglong, can you come forward and ask and tell us how Hugh is doing?
Like.
Oh wow, that is very loud today. I mean, if you've ever heard my sessions, it's never ever been this loud. It's like perfect timing. Um, in fact, I had it on earlier and it was sounding quite loud in my living room. So I moved into the kitchen to see if we could get better response, and it did sound better then, but now it's like now I have to say, so someone's saying here, Zulia, yep, makes me think about Lin Bouchuan. Still no news from him, but someone's come to me and they're very adamant that Lin Bouchuan does not exist. He's been made up by Aurora. They're saying that the name itself is indicative of Aurora, um, and I think that might be the case. I think we're both right in this. I believe that there was a Lin Bouchuan, someone who did step forward, and that they snatched him earlier, and then someone took on his identity to encourage people not to look for Yu Menglong's mother and do other things that persuaded them not to do things that could be helpful to the movement. And I wouldn't put it past the Chinese sort of propaganda and department to use an individual that had, gained popularity to get what they want. So I think they're both can be true at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the spirit box again. But before I let it go, I'm going to just turn it on so it's at a static radio station. And then I'm going to ask the question again. Is Hugh safe? That's what I'm going to ask. And then we're going to be able to hear the response, okay? Not maybe all of it, but maybe some of it that's coming out of the spirit box. Okay, I'll ask about Dilaraba as well. Dilaraba, I guess that's how you say it. I'll ask about her as well. Okay? All right. Okay. And I wonder as well if this might be interference because of the solar eclipse that's happening as well. I don't know if that may play into it energetically as well, why this might be so loud. Yu Menglong, I'd like to ask if Hugh was safe. If he's not, please tell me why and what's happening with him, okay? Thank you.
What is the product?
Did you say he's dead? What do you mean you couldn't stop it?
Bloody rain over.
I heard fighter.
Aaron.
What happened to him?
Not a lot. Real estate.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to let you go because you're starting to talk about real estate. Okay, bye. Wow, okay, I'm going to ask again, but when I asked last time, I heard dead come through very loudly, and I also heard fight come through very loudly. Doesn't mean Hugh's dead. Could mean they were talking about somebody else. But I'm going to ask again and then see if dead comes up. But this time when I ask, I'm going to say, if Hugh is dead, I want you to say Hugh is dead. Okay? So that way we hear it specifically to him. And then I'm going to ask about Dilaraba. Okay? As you can see, there's a lot of static going on right now on the spirit box. Not only that, it's a lot coming through, like a lot of people speaking at once. So it's going to take me analyzing it. So right now we're at 3 minutes of time. Usually I don't like to do sessions for longer than 10 minutes because spirit gets even harder to understand them after that point. So I'm going to ask again, okay? Oh, look, I think it's starting to decrease. Yu Menglong, we're very concerned and we would like very much to know if Hugh is dead. Please say Hugh is dead or Hugh is deceased or they killed him, something specific so that we know that he's passed. Or if he hasn't, please specifically say Hugh is alive, Hugh is safe, something like that, okay? I keep doing this. Hold on, I'm trying to use my voice box and the phone goes to sleep. Okay, so Hugh, I'm going to ask you just to be very specific. Say Hugh is dead or Hugh is alive. Could you please do that for us? Okay, say it. Hugh is dead or Hugh is alive.
From 19. Begin. And summer something.
Okay, could you say it again, please? Is Hugh dead or alive? Just say Hugh is dead or Hugh is alive.
Years ago. Corporate and officer. How do they?
Okay, so I heard dead several times. Did you guys hear it? Yeah. So I'm going to ask, well, I probably have already been giving the specifics in the infrasound underneath. I cannot believe this because what's no, I don't want to say for 100% sure until I listen to whole session. But you heard a live, see? There you go. Could be. Yeah, so it could be that. But I can't tell till I put my headphones on. So do you guys want me to ask about Dilaraba and see if we get a better response about that and see what it has to say? We're at 4 minutes 35 seconds now for session time, so I'm not going to do it for any longer than 10 minutes because it takes even longer to transcribe and decipher what the spirit is saying. So I'll ask about Dilaraba, and then we're going to wish you a happy new year, okay? Okay, it sounds much better now. There's not as much. I want you to just say one more time if Hugh is dead, but also I want to know about Dilaraba. Is she okay, or have they injured her? Is she still alive? Everything you can tell me about Dilaraba. But first, please tell me as clearly as you can. Shout it if you can, whether he's dead or not. Okay? Yes. He's passed. He's speaking to me. See how clear it is now?
Is that the plan?
Darn, I wasn't recording it. Oh. I'm not used to doing this and handling the on live. Okay, can you tell me if Hugh is passed? Is he dead? Oh, someone's crying. Friend of mine. Did they kill him last night? Yes. They go too far. Was it in the games? Chihao. What's happening with Dilaraba? Passed. Wow. He just armed guard. Armed guard.
Where are you looking?
Arm guard everywhere you look. Is she still being guarded? Is she still alive? Yes.
You hiding in the
She's hiding. They're hiding her or something. About hiding. Did you die last night? Did you die last night?
Here.
Here. Yes.
Or that I won't be around forever.
He knew he wouldn't be around forever, he said.
Yeah.
Died. Yes. How did he die in the games?
The mammoth.
They shot Hugh.
How did it shot?
You know.
Why did you shoot me for? After? Is Dillaraba going to survive?
Woolly mammoth. And chase them. Those of you that are listening.
And chase them. How can we save Dillaraba? Did you say you're behind me?
That's another time.
Yeah. Okay, I can feel it.
I'm out.
I'm out. Make people stand up. That we can live.
Supervisor Bright. You have to find.
Supervise. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. Thank you. Okay, so Dillaraba's still alive. She's being guarded by a lot of people, they say, but she's still alive. I don't know about her daughter. I don't know if it even could be her daughter. Maybe it's just you know what I really do think, because they talked about this with having Chin-Chi be a seed of Xi Jinping. And I think there was a program at one point where they had politicians or the red elite have illegitimate children, and lots of them, so they could send them out to do different directives. And I think that Shin-Chi was one of those children, and that's why he has such a connection with the Shi family clan. And I believe his name is actually reversed to the grandmother of the Shi clan. So that's another, aha moment where you go, yeah, that makes sense that he's with them, and that's why he's got such a ironclad umbrella above him, and that's why his name has not come up. And he seems to have not been affected in the least with this, with Yu's story coming out. But also, I think that, now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, the thing is, yeah, I believe that this is what I was saying about Dillaraba, is that I believe that they might use surrogacy, with actors and actresses so that they can have babies for them that they know are going to be like maybe talented because of genes, or good looking because of genes, and they can use them later on, and they may have these children in these compounds as leverage. Like it said so with Jackson Wang saying he has a son, his spirit back in Source, with Source, saying he has a son, and that the woman that had the child didn't want to, was afraid of him and didn't want the child. So that could have been a forced surrogacy, like they've done in the scam compounds, where they had women that were unattractive or in childbearing years, maybe over 40, impregnating them over and over again with multiple pregnancies so the child could be born and they could have the stem cells from the children being harvested for the elite so they could stay young. They may have children make children for these people so that they could say, oh, here's your child, and then the person becomes attached, and then where are you going to go? Because you're not going to run, you're not going to leave your child to the mercy of these people. So just like they did with Yu Menglong, they gave him pets. Why would they give him pets? So they could use it as leverage. Yes, possibly. That could be it. I mean, they're doing that in scam compounds, so it's not far-fetched to think that they could harvest her eggs. Being China, they're very medically advanced, harvest her eggs and then have it in a freezer somewhere and keep making replicas of herself, you know? Mm, that's some sort of weird conspiracy here in the West as well. That some of these artists that, like Britney Spears and others, are clones of the originals. And that's why they resemble them so much, but they have half of the talent they had. Because I think talent's not only genes but circumstances and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so it's about 9:20 now for the session. Let's just all wish Yu Menglong a happy uh, Lunar New Year and everybody else on the other side, and then we can let everybody I'll probably stop the live stream there unless people want to talk about other things. So yeah, just okay. We're going to say, because I haven't reviewed what they said whole with my headphones on and going over it slowly piece by piece. We're going to say there's a 90% chance that Hugh has been harmed in the games last night. Okay. There's still a 10% chance that I could have heard it wrong because I'm not listening to it with headphones. Okay. All right. So we're going to say Happy New Year to Yu Menglong, Chen Duling, Yu Menglong's mother, and Guju Chen. Okay. It's very staticky again. Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, you. He says, I love you. He said, I love you, everyone. That's right, he said. Yes, we love you so much here. Please wish a Happy New Year to Gu, Ju Chen. They count, he said. Yeah, we love you so much. Could you give a Happy New Year to your mom? We're watching, he said. Okay, so, and can you say a Happy New Year to Chen Dooley? And then he's going, well, you do got it. Or something to smell it. Okay, so everybody's saying Happy New Year to you, and they say we love you. And they're calling you Prince Yu, and they're just saying how much they miss you.
And how can I guarantee acceleration?
He's just saying all the things he wants us to do this year. Okay, I'm going to let you go now, you. Love you. Love you, he said. Okay, bye. Love you.
Simply the best. And a new kid.
Wow, he came through with a lot of love yous to you guys. So, and so he really appreciates you guys and the support you're giving him, obviously. And I think he actually came through a couple times with his actual voice this time. So when I get this up on the in just a video for Yu Menglong, and then you guys will be able to listen more closely to what was said. Like I said, if you want to hear the responses, I recommend you use a headphones. I recommend you also slow it down when it's too fast. Turn it down when it's too staticky because you can hear the whispers behind the static when you turn it down, or turn it up when it's in between, when it's in the white noise, when it's like the gentle shh, but they're talking really quietly. If you turn it up, you can often hear what they're saying. Sometimes you need to speed it up too. So, yeah, so I'm going to get this up for you guys. I just want to wish you all a happy new year. I want you to know that this year, the Fire Horse is our year. It's our year to transform the world into what we deserve it to be. And we're going to take it back from that 1% that is ruining it for the rest of us 99%. Okay? I just want to say I love you to you all, and I just want to say I'm proud of you guys for not giving up on you, not losing focus on what really matters. And I just want to say that I know with you guys, we can make a real difference. Okay? All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye bye.